Hi, and welcome back to the Positive Prepper. Yes, I still have Christmas decorations up. Just haven't been ready to take them down yet because our house looks really, really dull and boring without everything that we do. So that'll be done this week, no worries. So I titled this video Weapons of Mass Disruption because there's a lot of things that are going on that are going to be or could be very disruptive to all of us. And although they are not destructive, and I'm using that term very loosely, they could end up being very disruptive to all of us. So the first one is, so today, this morning, all flights were grounded. Okay, because there was something wrong with the system. Flights could land, but they couldn't take off. Okay, and this was nationwide. Now, it's being blamed on a glitch in the system, but it really shows the vulnerability in all of our systems. And why wasn't this upgraded? You know, why aren't there more cybersecurity systems put in place, that type of thing? Pete Buttigieg is going to have a lot to answer for with this. I know that one congresswoman has come up and said that she wants him to fly commercial from now on so that he understands how disruptive this is to everyday flyers. You know, there's a lot of people that fly for business. There's always people flying for personal reasons, whatever. They want him to feel the pain that the average citizen has felt. Now, whether that's going to go anywhere is neither here nor there. The point is, all of our infrastructure systems are very vulnerable. And today, one glitch in the system grounded the entire nation's planes. One glitch. Now imagine that this was a mass cyber attack and the disruptiveness that would have caused. And then the second thing, of course, a weapon of mass disruption is the power substations being hit. You know, nobody knows who's doing this. And as I said in a previous video, we don't know if it obviously, to me, in my opinion, seems like a coordinated attack. Remember that it doesn't take very many substations to get hit nationally before the entire power grid nationally is very disrupted and exposed. And so, in my opinion, that fits under this headline of weapons of mass disruption. The next one, the Supreme Court, and I talked to you about this, I think it was 2 videos ago, did not refuse to take on the Brunson versus Adams case. So this was the case about Brunson, the petitioner, and the fact that the 2020 election integrity things were not being investigated. Okay? And there's very clear laws about what should have been done that were violated, both state, in his state of Utah, and in the national realm, okay? And so I put this under weapon of mass disruption because we are living under that illusion of freedom, okay? Brunson is submitting a petition for reconsideration, but the highest court in the land has denied the constitutional right of people to have a fair election. And it shows me personally, in my opinion, that anyone can either be politicized or to turn a blind eye to the Constitution. What recourse is for the highest court in the land to turn down a case based on constitutional law? What is the recourse for that? This case, and just as a refresher, and I don't think I went into a lot of depth when I brought up this case, it included the First Amendment, the right of people to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Remember that I said there were over 100 Congress people that said there was something weird, fraudulent going on with this election system, and it was never investigated. Article 6, judges in every state shall be bound by the supreme law of the land, which is the Constitution. So every judge that denied this case before it went to the Supreme Court should also be held accountable for that illusion of freedom and for giving up their constitutional duties. The Fifth Amendment. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, and due process of law. This petition was denied the due process of law based on actions that were by the defendants treasonous and a dereliction of duty. And if you cannot get this highest court in the land to take this case, now they heard oral arguments, and we don't know exactly what evidence was turned in, what was presented during those oral arguments, right? But we are living in this illusion of freedom because our First and Second Amendment rights have been violated repeatedly by restricting policy, not just by government, but by privately owned companies such as Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, right? Okay. And there's no guarantee that this court, our Supreme Court of the United States, will rule in favor of the Constitution simply because they refuse to hear this case, which was overwhelmingly based on constitutional law. That's the whole reason they went to the Supreme Court, because they had a very strong constitutional case. And it was denied. It only took 4 justices to approve this for this case to move on. That didn't happen. To me, that says that the weapons of mass disruption, in my opinion, that government entity falls within that at this point, and I'm horribly disappointed. So the next thing is banning gas stoves. Again, climate change, turning everything electric. First they're going after your cars. Well, that didn't really work. Now they're going to go after gas stoves because of a study that was done, and I can't remember the term, but this study that they're going off of was based on, it was not, let me put it this way, it was not based on any research on actual children living in homes with gas stoves. I'll put it that way. I can't remember what the term is. Okay, it's just based on the environmental, like what particles these stoves put in the air, what's healthy, what's not healthy, blah, 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 blah. One study, not done on anybody that actually lives or lived with a gas stove in their home. And I loved it. We were watching Fox News, and they had the chef that was, he actually, I think it was duct tape, or actually it looked like painter's tape, but to himself to his gas stove, and he was like, there's no way you're taking away my gas stove. And he brought up the fact that even the White House has a gas stove. But this is the weapon of mass disruption that the left is trying to use. We're going to do everything we can to get you away from anything other than electricity. And we're going to cram this down your throat, and we're going to make you follow our policies, and we're going to make you believe that we are doing this in your best interest. Utterly false. The last one I want to bring up is, and this, obviously this happened a while ago, but it is another weapon of mass disruption. The disinformation that came out when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Okay, it took our eyes off the federal government when they, at the time, were limiting the Second Amendment by invoking the red flag laws. So while everybody was up in arms about, oh my God, we can't have abortions anymore. Well, number one, you shouldn't, with exception. I do have that belief. But while everybody was up in arms about that, they were disarming, right, by having these red flag laws that basically gives power to local governments to take away your firearms from people deemed to be a risk without giving those people the Fifth Amendment right to due process. Do we see this theme here? You're either found guilty or not guilty based on what? Based on how? Based on your social credit score. I'm just going to put that out there. Okay? So you can go in and you can rob a jewelry store and you can get off with millions of dollars of jewelry, but we're not gonna charge you with a crime because you didn't put a gun right to the store owner's head. But we're gonna put you in jail if some third party says, that person's depressed today, I think we should take away their guns. And if you're caught with a gun, we're going to make sure that you are incarcerated. And if you shoot somebody coming in armed and robbing your store, we're going to charge you, not the robbers. We're going to charge you. So there's a very clear line right now between rule of law and without rule of law. And if you are on the side of without rule of law, you are more apt to get away with whatever you want to than the law-abiding citizens that are trying to do right, trying to protect themselves. Okay? This is a weapon of mass disruption. We get everybody confused. Everything is bass-ackwards right now. And that's what they want, the chaos. The takeaway from this video that I want you to take away from this is that we could definitely see more cyber attacks and ransomware attacks on critical infrastructure. And I said that in my predictions, that we are going to have, I think we are still on the path towards a major cyber attack. And I think it's going to take down very critical infrastructure. Look at what's already happened just this month, right? Somewhere in the UK, I can't remember what that was about, but they couldn't send things overseas or something because of a cyber attack on their postal system or whatever it was. This is all just in January, folks. We're not even in middle January. So I stand by that prediction that we are headed towards a massive infrastructure, either cyber attack or ransom attack. Okay? We have more freedoms being taken away in a way that makes people think that we're okay. So this is that illusion of freedom, right? And that no section of government truly follows that Constitution. The Constitution is the law of our land. And if our government is unwilling to follow the law of the land, what is it going to take to get back to that law of the land? Okay? You know, they don't want to follow the Constitution as unabsolute as it is, right? And unless we are ready to fight back or be prepared, we will all become subservient to the dark side. I don't plan on going to that side anytime soon. Okay? But this is where we're at. You know, Republicans took the House. I don't have a lot of faith in that. There's too many rhinos. There's too many things and people that are going to continue these disruptive policies and behaviors and actions that are going to just keep perpetuating all of this chaos instead of bringing things back down. Okay? So in prepper terms, pay off everything that you can. Prepare to live without power and internet. How many times have you heard me say that? And decide whether everything has already crossed that line in the sand for you. And if it has, what will you do? I want to thank everyone who has stayed with me. I know that I'm not very consistent in my videos, right? But all of my subscribers, I want to send a huge thank you. I've gotten some new subscribers, and I want to thank you and welcome you aboard as well. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you know when new videos are coming out. But as always, folks, stay safe, stay aware, and God bless.